How are you funding your campaign in the essence of transparency and accountability?
Absolutely. So I don't know if you guys have a copy of my flyer, but you're welcome to grab one. And I've also had some posters around campus, and I've had a dedicated team helping me with a number of issues, including my website design and putting up a Facebook page and graphic design as well. And in all those cases, the labor and materials have been donated by people who believe in students and believe in higher education as I do. So I actually have a spreadsheet that I'd be happy to share with anybody who's interested. Maybe, I don't know if the Elections Committee wants to make that public, with line items of how much graphic design has cost, how much the website design would cost if somebody were to charge for it, but in fact it's all been donated. In particular, with regard to the printing, I have borrowed people's logo IDs, and in particular in the physics department we actually get free printing in the physics department for physics stuff. So I've asked physics students to donate their logo cash so that I can go to the library and use university, the opportunity to have free printing in the library with the logo cash that students have donated. So I think that I hope that this is a transparent process to everybody. And speaks to how I hope that, how I intend to run the GPSA if I were to be elected, which is as a transparent process and as a team building exercise. At the end of the day, I think leadership is about getting people to believe in what you're trying to accomplish as a team, and then making sure that the right skill sets come to the task that's at hand. And that's what I've done with my campaign, and I'm sort of honored and humbled by the number of people who have been helping me out, and I hope that would be something that I could continue in the coming year and make sure that the people with the right skill sets get connected with the problems that we have, because as graduate and professional students there are so many problems. I just came over from geology, and they were supposed to have their comps on a certain day, and in fact the forms weren't filled out correctly, and the faculty hadn't been responsible for filling out the forms, and so the students who had studied for months for their comps had that process delayed. Well, GPSA can advocate for issues like that. GPSA can be an advocate for students on so many different levels, and we need to make sure that we've got a team around us working for students and accessibility to higher education.
Patricia.
Well, I'm smiling because, as I mentioned previously this week, the team effort starts at home, and my son is here, my husband's here, I'm here, and all of us have contributed to design, to printing, and to putting this labor of love together for this campaign, and that's the way we've operated as a family. It starts with my family. And I'm also very grateful to the broad and extensive group of support that I've been receiving, and the team effort that has extended from family to my extended family here at the university, and those that have stepped up and volunteered to assist me in putting up posters, passing out flyers, folding them, and putting all that has to be done together to be able to facilitate this campaign. And that really is at the core of how I go about doing things. I'm always talking and thinking about what is the best way to maximize and leverage our resources. And we all have very limited resources. All of us do. And it's been a very difficult path the past year or two for a lot of students and a lot of people in the community, because resources are stretched, and because we have to be able to come up with ways in which, creative and innovative ways in which to be able to leverage our funds. And so, again, it's been a team effort. Some of the costs that have been associated have been printing costs. I've exhausted my card. I've exhausted my son's card. I've exhausted the cards of others. And so been able to put up some printing costs on my own. I was telling the story earlier that the frugality of the life that my family lived is my mother always used to keep a stash. And whenever she had some disposable income, some spare change that she would kind of pick up from the table or from my father's pants that he left, and change hanging around, she would collect that stash. Well, for the last year or so, every year I collect my stash. And so I have a loose change and money that we've been going around and collecting and putting into the campaign fund. But that really is the best way to go about any campaign, is by promoting a team spirit, a spirit of working together and leveraging our resources. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everyone at this time for have been able to come up and assist in my campaign for that.
Jacob?
Thanks. So to date, I've spent $50 on printing these nifty little leaflets at Kinko's. And that's the only campaign expenditure that I've incurred, rather. I did the design myself on my new Mac, and just ate those costs from my own personal checking account. You know, I was running late because I was at a doctor's appointment, but I also, this morning, right after we had a forum at the medical school, had my 100th coffee date of this campaign. That's how I've been approaching this issue, is just trying to meet people one-on-one in small conversations and meeting them at Satellite for coffee. So I've been picking up their tab because it is a recession, but I've been picking up my tab. So I think all in all that comes to about maybe another 60, 70 bucks. So that's about $120 in total, coffee and printing total. And that's all come out of my personal checking account. Thanks.
And Joseph.
I would also have to reiterate what some of the other candidates said, that it's a volunteer effort for the most part. Things like website and graphic designs and things like that have all been donated by people who are obviously supporting my choice to run in this campaign. Obviously, I have spent my own money as well on some of this. I haven't used any university printing at all. I've done it all off-site, or paid for it out of pocket, or had people volunteer to print things for me if they're helping design and things like that. So I mean, it's somewhere around the same, about 50, I think. I was just making some copies earlier. I think I probably just passed about $50, maybe $60 in printing. So I mean, it's not a big secret or anything. So I think, but it does kind of give light, I think, to some of the ideas that you do have to be creative with funding in general when you're dealing with money. If it's your own, obviously you're maybe a little more careful, but I don't think that we should be any less careful in examining how we spend money, and whether it's money that's given to us or our own money. And I think that that's a philosophy that I carry with me to GPSA, and that I think is very important. So I think obviously campaign expenditure directly relates to that.
Any rebuttals?
You know, I want to say that I truly believe in student employment and supporting our graduate and undergraduates in the student employment area. And so my printing was not done off campus. I went to the copy center for also maximizing the resource. And so that's important to me, because those are jobs that we want to protect on campus and that we want to promote. And it also is the most affordable. And again, as I mentioned, it is maximizing resources and leveraging funds to the best of our abilities and paying the best cost. And that's a reflection of how I'll be running the office, maximizing resources and looking for the most cost-effective ways to do things.
Katie?
Yeah, and just to be clear, you know, the resource of the Lobo cache that the students would not actually otherwise be using is sort of in some sense, you know, a free opportunity, a resource that's just waiting there to be taken. So I think that that's been an excellent thing for my campaign. I know it costs 8 cents a double-sided page at Zimmerman Library and 5 cents a single-sided page. And I'd like to actually ask Joseph how much his business cards cost each one.
I don't know. I ordered them online, so they were sent to me. They were one of those cheap online sites I can show you. I mean, like $35, I think.
For how many?
$250.
$250. That's cool.
Something like that.